Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to this Islamic general knowledge quiz. You'll face 22 questions and you'll have around 7 seconds for each one. So stay sharp and think fast. Let's begin. Bismillah. How many verses are in Surah Al-Fatiha? Answer is 7. How many verses are in Surah Al-Kawthar? Answer is 3. In which surah is Ayatul Kursi? Surah Al-Baqarah. Which surah mentions the covenant taken from all prophets? Surah Al-Imran. Which surah mentions that hunting is prohibited during Ihram? Surah Al-Ma'idah. Which surah compares disbelief to ashes blown away by the wind? Surah Ibrahim. Which surah describes the Qur'an as a healing and mercy for believers? Surah Al-Isra. Which surah commands speaking kindly to parents? Surah Al-Isra. Which surah forbids wasting wealth extravagantly? Surah Al-Isra. Which surah says not to walk on the earth arrogantly? Surah Al-Isra. Which surah mentions that the Quran is easy to remember? Surah Al-Qamar. Which surah repeatedly says, "So is there any who will remember?" Surah Al-Qamar. Which surah mentions the people of Prophet Lut alayhi salam being punished with stones? Surah Hud. Which surah mentions the nearest angels carrying Allah's throne? Surah Ghafir. Which surah mentions that Allah forgives all sins for those who repent? Surah Az-Zumar. Which surah says, "Do not despair of the mercy of Allah"? Surah Az-Zumar. Which surah mentions the gates of paradise being opened? Surah Az-Zumar. Which surah commands believers to enter Islam completely? Surah Al-Baqarah. Which surah mentions that Allah loves those who repent? Surah Al-Baqarah. Which surah tells believers to lower their gaze? Surah An-Nur. Which surah mentions that wealth and children are a test? Surah Al-Anfal. Which surah says remembrance of Allah brings peace to hearts? Surah Ar-Ra'd. MashaAllah, you made it to the end. Drop your score in the comments below and tell us how many you got right. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a quiz. Share this with a friend and see if they can beat your score. Until next time, Assalamualaikum.